What an important talk. I'm so glad that both of them are part of Outlier, and I will bring them to stage right away. Hi, Daniela. Hi, Liz.
Hi everyone.
Hi, so nice to have you here. It looks like it's so warm where you are. Not jealous at all.
Yes, I am in the beach, so on my vacation.
Yeah, I'm in Santiago.
Oh, goodness. That sounds like fun. So, we're super glad to have you here. The questions are still coming in, and usually when the questions are sort of a little bit delayed means that people were really focused during the talk, and then a couple of minutes later we see an explosion of questions because people are just so interested. So we have about 20 minutes together, and let's see how many questions we can go through. So the first question is around the impact of your work. So what were some of the reactions that you received when people saw or experienced your different projects?
Please,
You?
can you answer that question because I
So
have
some
a
of
delay. So
oh sorry, how do people receive your projects? What are some of the feedbacks you have received?
We have different feelings about our project because we received some comments about men that are mm, not good with all we show in our posts, but actually we try to have a network with women that
Hmm.
support us and that defend the work that we do for the country. And well, I think it's value work that we do in
Hmm.
Chile for the data visualization.
and also data visualization is a very new discipline in Chile.
Hmm.
So it's people really like to see the data into images. So I think it's very new for our country or for Latin America. It's not very to see this in social media or
Hmm.
in web pages. For we don't have, we have, but no many different media. Um, the newspapers doesn't don't have is or it's difficult to see in our mass media that type of
Hmm.
data visualization.
Hmm. It it is so nice that you're advancing the data visualization in the region where it's not well known yet. Have you ever had negative experience or even abuse or harassment because of your data feminism work?
No, we didn't have like serious 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 things, but we have like sometimes we have men that doesn't like our work, so they go uh, to our Instagram to us
Hmm.
or but everything is controlled now.
Hmm. Liz, did you want to add something to that?
No, it's that.
Okay. How do you adapt to the rapid changing context, for example, the politics? So you spoke about the political context a lot in your talk. So how do you adapt your work to the changes? I think you even said that there was a year where you had like 5 elections or something.
Yeah, we have different ways to work in the during the weeks. So, for example, for the daily post, we have a meeting on the week to collect important data about the actual context in the country, even if there's a commemorative date or something like that. The data team process a different database and we discuss the data to be visualized. So the team divides into parts. So the first one is the sociologists with the design working on the data visualization, and the second part works on the text that explains the context of the data. So perhaps our way of data visualization is more explanatory than exploratory. So we show insightful information about the topic. And of course, all the process impregnated with the data feminism principles that we show on the presentation. So, and when a post requires, for example, an image or illustration, it could be complicated because we are careful not to fall into stereotypes. So, and we prioritize the data visualization as the total image, but the photos we use have to stop supporting a patriarchal system. So that's the way we work.
Okay. So since you said that, what do you do to not fall into those stereotypes? Because I think everyone here wants to do it, but it's not always easy. So do you have any tips?
Yes, it's difficult not to fall into stereotypes when you design, because many times you have to simplify or to reduce the complexity. This world is really complex. Still, that complexity a lot of times is very rich in diversity. So, how come for different type of people with difference in our designs, we ask, and we have no absolute answers. We're always experimenting, but of course we have some tips or some learnings that, for example, it is easy and intuitive to represent women with warm colors like pink, orange, purple. We use every gender, so no like for women or boots for men. So every color is for everybody, and also we decide to use not to use the typical icon to represent, for example, women. There are a lot of different diversity of women. So to represent a woman with a skirt or with whatever with heels is very reductionist for us. So instead, we try to use photos. But also, it's very difficult to find photos in the internet with Latin American faces or Latin American color. So we have no, but we have some clues.
Okay. So did you want to add something, Liz? Didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
Okay. So following on a similar path, we just spoke about the gender stereotypes. Do you have some guidelines on how to deal with the sensitive data that you often have at hand, which is what you communicated about oppressed or even traumatized groups? So how do you communicate the data without distressing them even more? If you have any thoughts or guidelines for yourself on maybe a checklist or something that could help you.
There is not a checklist, but well, Daniela told that we prefer use images than icons or things like can stereotype someone. But we don't have a checklist. We prefer ask questions about our work to communicate a better way.
Yes,
Okay.
we have so many questions.
Sounds good.
But also we work with a team, so we discuss everything every day, so we can learn with our team. Some of us are feminists, everybody in the team, but so we can work together and we can learn for each other. Like something, more about this type of feminism, or more about data, or we like Liz and I know more about design or representation, visual representation. So we always discuss everything. Maybe we need to be more quick, fast to discuss, but we do.
So building on that, do you have a process in those discussions to decide which projects you will do? Like how do you decide on what's the next project?
Mm.
We don't have how do you say money. Don't have station money, so so we want to do projects, many projects, but we have to ask for funds to do that project. So, for example, now we have we want to do a project with innovation. So we are looking for funding to do that project. And also we have many projects like in our coffee, in our how do you say, como, we have many projects that we want to do, but we are discussing, and we are really new. So so we are. We are discussing everything, and we are looking for funds.
Yeah. Yeah, what we do for now is to generate a feminism networking to create projects when we have the economic funds. So.
Okay, that sounds really good. Do you think data visualization can be a tool to give voice to groups and communities that were traditionally not in the media? So maybe through organizations like yours or other initiatives.
Yes, we are sure about that. For example, our project Ni un Paso Atrás is like that. We want to give voice for people that don't have. For example, the history of women in Chile is very unknown. So with the tool of data visualization, you can do that, and you can co-create with those groups. For example, doing interventions in different communities, or doing physical data visualization to discuss things in the communities. Or so we really want to do that type of project to give voice to the groups that don't have.
Yeah, I think it's a must of data visualization give a voice to groups and communities. Because data visualization do not represent the whole world, and we forget the fact and accept charts as facts because they are generalized, scientific, and seem to represent an expert and neutral point of view. But it's not that way. So I think it's a must of data visualization.
Totally agree. Amazing. That's why we love having you here on stage, so that more and more people can hear about your work. Could you tell us a bit more about how your work is being used by other organizations and to support other movements?
We are having a really we are having a really good support by feminist groups in Chile, and they use our social media, for example, social media data visualization to communicate their problems. For example, there is an organization that works with women in rural places, and they share our statistics to convince people to sign the constitutional norm in the constitutional process, because we are in a constitutional process in Chile. So that's an example to how the different organizations or agencies are using our work to their influences.
I think, Liz, you maybe were saying something at the beginning
No,
with a little bit of a lag. Okay. So in the talk, you mentioned that there's a lack of data in Chile and that the government doesn't really want to provide the data. And someone in the chat said that in Italy, apparently it's the same thing. And they're wondering what is the excuse and maybe how do you go about it?
For example, sorry, Liz, do you want to say something?
I just want to say that I think it's a kind of control the society to the lack of the data. I'm a Mexican living in Chile. I'm an immigrant, so I don't know the whole context of Chile, but Danny is a better response.
No budget for a service, for example. There is a typical survey that its name is use of time survey. That every country has that, and that survey is essential to care work, for example. We know women do type of work without pay, so the state says we don't have money to do that survey, and I think maybe they don't have money or we don't have money, but it's we have to know how a woman works, do that type of work. And also in the last years, we advanced a lot in public access databases, but there is still a long way to go. And as Odesi, we detected this significant gap in finding disaggregated gender data, for example. So yeah, it's difficult. No money for for service. That is a difficult excuse.
Yeah. So given all that, it's amazing that you get to do all of the work that you do and disseminate it and have other organizations use it. So that's the end of our Q&A. I really want to thank you so much for joining and for doing this in English and doing it during your holiday. That's really, really nice of you. And I encourage you to check the chat on Sparkle. I don't know if you have already. There are a lot of comments and encouragements, so do make sure that you read all of that. Thank you so much and hope to see you soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. See you.